What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dance and Talks, the podcast released from A Live Story Amsterdam. Now, I am Therese Allen, aka Teaser, your truly host, and today we are traveling to Norway and France since we are meeting the French dancer and DJ Stu from Left Sound Crew. So who is Stu? He was brought up in Bobigny, outside Paris in France. After playing soccer, he fell in love with dancing and especially the style of popping. He later on started battling both nationally and internationally, and together with a friend, he later on moved to Norway, where he formed Left Sound Crew together with other dancers. Today, he's not only a dancer, but is also an international battle DJ and is hosting his own club events. We're gonna get him to talk all about it in this interview. Now, you already know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, share, comment below in this episode. And if you know a friend that would like to hear more about dancers and their real life stories, don't forget to share it with them. Now, let's get it going. Welcome to this interview, Stu. Pa 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 pa.
No, one and only 8.
The one and only. Where in the world are you located right now?
I've been located now in Oslo for 10 years, Norway.
Damn,
So,
the time flies, man. I remember when you moved there.
yes, 2008 actually. End of 2008 and then 2009, we really took the decision to, we're gonna stay in Scandinavia.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I feel like I really want to get to know Stu a little bit even longer before that because you got in my vision when you moved to Scandinavia, of course. But
Mhm.
I know that you're from France, but where
Yeah.
specifically are you from? And could you tell me a little bit about how it was growing up in your area?
So, I'm from the suburbs of Paris called Bobigny. It's like 5 minutes from from Paris, the city. Uh, I'm originally, my parents, they're from Martinique. It's a Caribbean island, like from the French colonies. And so I grew up mainly with my grandmother when I was a kid, because my parents had to work. So my first 5 years, I kind of just speak Creole. And then after, when I started to go to school in France, then it was like learning French. So
Nice.
grew up as a Caribbean kid in Paris.
That's funny. Funny story. I've been to Bobigny. That was my first international
Yeah.
Kizomba festival.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we went to the Canal 93. Oh,
I
heard
I can
about it.
tell you we were a bit surprised about the area. We did
Yeah.
get robbed and we met Keskia
No.
in the Kizomba festival and he was like, "What are you guys doing here?"
Yeah.
Which was funny.
Oh,
So that's a side thing, but we didn't know about Bobigny. But
oh,
we'd been there. We've been there.
yeah,
And
it's a little bit ghetto-ish.
well, that's what people say but when you come from the outside, it looks like whatever area. So
Yeah.
tell me more about the Martinique experience, because I happen to know, seeing one of your other interviews, that the music you grew up around was Caribbean music as well.
Yeah, a lot. And a lot of, also because my grandmother, she used to listen like this French variety music, like popular music at that time. So like early, like end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s, I grew up with a lot of French classics music, and on the other side, just a bunch of Caribbean music, like from carnival music, dancehall, zouk. We had this famous group called Kassav. at that time, which they're like super big, and we grew up only with this, you know. I get to hip hop really late. Like in the beginning, it was just Caribbean and French music, to be honest.
What would be your first memory of dance? Like if you can backtrack, the first ever memory you have of dance
Evidence in general.
in
God,
general.
okay. The story about me is like they say I woke when I was 6 months, like 5, 6 months. So I kind of start to work super early, like pretty much earlier than everybody's, which was creepy and scary for some people because you have this little guy and he can walk. And I think I started pretty much there, like around before I got 1 years old. Because if you walk at 6, I already emulated, and I grew up right in the time of Michael Jackson. So pretty much early, like, and I have pictures of it. So this is funny. That's the crazy part.
Did your grandmother dance as well?
Everybody dance. Everybody dance. Like, okay, I grew up in like where I'm from in Martinique, or it's not just Martinique, it's just the people from the neighborhood at that time in France. They used to do a lot of home party, like a lot of, like any reason was the subject to a party. If one of my uncle has his diploma, there's a party on the weekend. If somebody has a birthday, there's a party on the weekend. If somebody got the driver's license, it was a party on the week. And it was like, for me, it felt like every weekend it was like a party. And of course, when you're a kid, you don't really party. Like, it's just the best moment when you meet all your cousin from outside of the city, and then there's a lot of adult and grown-up people who do actually party. And when you're a kid, you just play around, you know. And you play what's the game in English? The game when you
Hide and seek?
hide and seek. You play a lot of this shit. And after when you grow up a little bit more, you start to get into more interested into dancing.
Yeah. Usually when the interest of girls start happening.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
For us, it
Because
started really early, like pretty much 6, 7 years old, and we love. My aunt used to make us dance like as a group to show to everybody in the family, you know. So, and they have the scary and funny part, and it's good too. But they have videos of this shit, like. And sometimes when I go back to France, they say, "Hey, you remember this?" And they show me the video. I'm like, "Oh, please keep this shit on the side because it's crazy." But it's nice. It's really like I grew up with a lot of music and a lot of dancing, a lot of parties,
yeah.
and with what it comes, like drunk people, crazy people, funny people, a party
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
It's interesting to see how like your life has developed and the choices of career that you've been making has like followed a little bit that path throughout your entire life. Do you think that even though you were forced to perform and all of that, did you still think that it was fun and exciting, or was it like a hate love relationship that turned into like a career later on?
No, we never. I never thought it would be a career. At that time, it was just fun. Like we were like the kids that everybody want to see, and then like it was like you get fashion or trendy. Everybody like you, you know. So at that time, it was just fun. Like it felt like normal because everywhere it was done. Like every family was doing the same. So it never I never have a second thought like, oh, is it something I'm gonna do or not? I just thought it was a normal thing to do. It's like people play football. Where I come from, we just dance and or yeah, it's like it's not a tradition, but it's what people do in certain area in the suburbs. Depends
Yeah.
of which community live where. But the place where I live, it was not where I grew up is not far from a place called Sarcelles. So there's a lot of dancers from there. In those areas is mainly a lot of Caribbean, Central Africa people, like from Congo and Cote d'Ivoire and things like that. So the culture of party is so huge. So you kind of have no choice. You have to live it anyway.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that the rest of the world is very lucky that you felt like you couldn't be able to live without it, because otherwise we wouldn't have DJs to dancers to and all of that.
After becoming a like when becoming a dancer, like thinking like that became really late. Like I never up to this when you're a kid, you don't think like that. You're just like, oh, it's fun. My uncle dance like that, so I want to dance like that. And of course, you see the grown-ups, they do like back then. The shit was the Running Man. You know, when in the 90s, where people was dressing with like those huge baggy jeans and they have like this type of Jungle Brother and Tribe Called Quest outfit. Like it was a time like this in France. Like everybody was dressing like that. They had like even the chain, like the wood chain with the Africa logo and everything. So it was like that time. It's like when you're a kid and you watch the grown up, you're like, oh, I want to be like them too. So whatever make you feel like them, you just do. You know.
Mm. And
That
so
was
what
the
happened? Like when did you then enter dance? Like why or when was the moment when you actually can look back now and say this is where I started entering the dancing scene for real?
It's like it's like from that period because I grew up till to at my grandma's place till I was 7. Then I moved back with my parents because they could afford to have me with them all the time. So this is when I moved back to Bobigny. And then it's like maybe 7 other years where I never think about dancing or music. I have music around me. We still have the party at my grandma's place every weekend. So that doesn't change, but it's just like it's natural. And for 7 years, I was focused on maybe after like from my 7 years to I get 14 years old. I just play football. Like I wanted to be a football player, and then I start to enter also. I started capoeira really early, and I did it like for 8 years. And then so I was not thinking about dance. And then after at the end of my capoeira time, like I was about maybe 14, 15, I it was a festival in my city in Bobigny where you guys has the Kizomba festival. Almost the same place, same venue. We used to have this huge hip hop event called XXL, and and that was the shit. Like period. Like if you go to France and you go to every like the old school, like the Wanted, the Section C, the like all the b-boys know this event. It was like really famous. And this is where I met the Wanted guys, Division Alpha, Family, all the crew from Paris. They were all coming to my city, and they had this huge battle. And all the neighborhood guys like me, we just go because we're like, wow, this is we know it's gonna be crazy. At the end, you know it's gonna be maybe a fight. It's like for us, it was entertainment. It's just crazy. So because at the end of this event, people used to run out, like the b-boy, because they fight between each other, and then the guy from the neighborhood they want to fight too. So they were running after dancers, so you could see people running for. It was just it's a crazy picture you're never gonna feel or even imagine. But the b-boy from that time, if you talk to Yuxon, Babson, Capella wasn't there because Capella was from really far. But at that time, yeah, the Yuxon, Deadson, Yaman, all of those people, they can tell you. There's other group, but I don't know if you guys know Liaison Fatale or Fantastic Armada. Like, there's a lot of famous crew in Paris. And at that time, it was like I think it was the golden age of b-boying in France.
Mm.
Because it was so many crew and everybody was representing. It was just crazy. So I saw that and then I was like, okay, it's something I want to do like this, because I saw the interaction they have with the crowd and how people respond to what they do. I was like, okay, I need to be in this world. And then what happened is after those events, I checked my city. They had like this open class for people who want to dance hip hop at that time. I, I just went there and I didn't have money at first, but I went there and lucky me, the guy who was teaching there, his name is Mehdi Slimani. He when he saw me because I was the only guy, he was like, okay, because you're the only guy, you can come for free. You stay and I will teach you for free. So
Wow.
that's how I started. And this is maybe 98, yeah, middle of 98.
All right. Well, okay. So you're taking these classes, you're starting to train. Then take me with you. What do you see when you enter your first battle?
Whoa, oh no, no, no.
Yes, yes, yes.
You, Sebastian. Okay. My first battle that I compete or that I saw? That I
No,
compete.
you compete.
Holy shit. Okay. It happens to be Juste Debout. So,
You started with, oh yeah, wait a second, the biggest hip hop competition in the world.
no, but at that time it was really small. Like, and do you know what? It's funny because this was then I was a little bit I was dancing already a little bit before because I started in 98 and the first Juste Debout came out in 2002. So my teacher, he was about to compete there, but me, I have no clue what it was. Like, he said, "I'm gonna do this event. Is one of the few for the poppers and people who does hip hop and house and locking. So if you want, you can come with me." So of course I'm gonna go. Like that is the only place I can see this shit. So I went there back then, and I remember I went with someone from my school and I stayed there just before the final, and just when the final came out, we had to go home because our parents had called us and they were looking for us, and we were so far, so we were like, "Fuck, we cannot stay. We gotta run back home." And so that was the first year. I didn't compete. Then the second year, like in 2003, I was like, "Okay, I need to enter this shit," because at that time it was not so many people from my generation. Like it was no Nelson. It was it was nobody. I felt like it was really a few new dancers at that time because I was looking for someone from my age, right? Because I didn't want to dance with all the Bruce, Gonji, and Salah. Like those are two big people. Sally Sly. I didn't want to dance with them. Like it's like those guys are too far. There's no way I'm gonna compete with them. So I was looking for people from my age. So, and then with the time, I found out like there were people in this different neighborhood were dancing, and then I met a lot of other dancers. But Juste Debout 2003, I come in. It's basically a gymnasium.
Yep.
It's really small. It's really max 100%, but already 100% at that time was a lot. It felt like it was Bercy, because I never seen so many people in one place. And so it was 100 people. It was really cheap to enter. It was probably we used to pay €5 the entrance, and now if you go to Gisdoubu, you have to fucking pay €35.
Yeah, it's a stadium though, like
Yeah,
18,000 people.
yeah. And so no, it was like I would enter, and all I remember is just seeing a lot of people that I used to watch either on internet because the internet came out 2 years previous those years, because we had internet in France in 2000. So the time we get it, and I remember we have only one website called Style de Ouf, and this is where every video of dance was, and I think it was for Europe.
Wow.
Like you had video of this is how I get to know about Out of Control in Scandinavia, because they have video of them, they have video of Steen, they have video of Demon, they were putting a lot of video, but it was not like YouTube. You know, YouTube, you go and you stream and then you can see right away. At that time, you had to wait maybe a 1 minute video. You probably have 30 minutes to download the shit. So sometimes we had to download for an hour, just one video of 5 minutes. And when you get it, you see people, and then I go to Juste Debout, and all the people I saw in those videos, they were there. So it's like Disney, you know, like for a kid, little kid in Disneyland. And I remember I even I asked someone because at that time you heard about names, you don't know who is who. You just say, "Oh, Salah was this, Salah was there, Salah was killing it," and you're like, "Who is Salah? Who is Salah?" And then they one day I went to my teacher and I said, "Yeah, who is Salah?" And he said, "Oh, don't worry. When you get into the place, you will know who is Salah."
Yeah.
But it wasn't Salah that I watched. Actually, I was seeing Gemini because Gemini was the most, you know, he had the clothes, the most fresh clothes ever I've seen. Like it was like in the movie. So I said, "Oh, this guy is well dressed, so it must be Salah." I didn't think about the dance, but then after later on when I saw Salah dance, I was like, "Okay, nah, I know it's Salah, and I
So
know what."
you have all these famous dancers around you, and you have to enter this
Yep,
battle.
yep.
And what happened?
What happened is I want to do popping. I cannot enter the popping because it was full book, so it was no space for popping. So at that time, Bruce told us like, "Oh, but if you want, you can do hip hop. There's still space, some spot in hip hop." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know what is hip hop." And my partner at that time just sent me some bullshit. It was like, "Yo, you know what? All you gotta do, you do popping, a little bit of popping, and you do a little bit of video clip MTV. You know, like." And at that time, what I used to see is not even on MTV. It's a friend from my school who brought me tape with BET, and that record like 2 hours of BET and all the video of PDD and Fabulous, Ned Dog, and at that time the famous dance was two famous dance. It was Sea Walk and it was Harlem Check.
Did you do them in the battle? Please tell me.
Yep. The worst, I did Sea Walk. I did exactly what my friend said. He said, do a little bit of popping and a little bit of. So if you find this video, which I hope you will never find, but I know it's there because I've seen it. You see me do a little bit of popping mixed with sea walk, mixed with Harlem Shake. Terrible.
Wow.
And
Okay.
this is a pass.
In order for me to have a chance to find this, I want to know, was your name Stu back then, your dancing name? What was
No,
your first dancing name then?
it was Stevens.
Stevens.
Yeah, it was my real name. So at that time, nobody knew me. But you know what? It's a funny story about it because, okay, you know, Capella and Keskia, they were there at this event. And those are really like professional rosters. So when they saw me dance at that time, what I didn't know, but I could feel it. I had a hint, but I was like, I have no idea. You know, when I danced that day, it was super quiet in the room, like really quiet. And I thought it was like, okay, maybe it's just because they're gonna wait and then they're gonna clap. And usually when you finish dance, people clap and you're like, okay, then maybe it was okay. But that day was really quiet. And then, like maybe 5 or 9 years later, Capella and Keskia they found out that was it was me,
Oh.
the dance. And then they came to me. I was like, they showed me the video and they said, "Is that you?" And at first I said, "Why are you asking me?" No, no. Can you tell us if it's you or not? Then I say yes. Then they start to run away. They start to laugh. And they were like, "Yo, bro, you know you're a legend." Like everybody was wondering, "Who are you? What are you doing?" Everybody was talking about you. What? Say, yeah, you know, people used to roast you. I was like, oh
Oh,
shit.
oh my God.
So
You should have kept calling yourself the silent dancer or like
nah, you know what? And you
DJ
know
Silence.
about all of this, with the time, because after like you progress, you meet other people, and your dance change, and you know more and more what you're doing. So I really forgot about that period. It's just I used to practice in Paris. My generation used to practice a lot in a place called Châtelet-les-Halles. So before it was before you have 104, before you have La Défense. This place called Châtelet was like the place where every dancers was going at nighttime when all the is actually a center where you have a lot of boutique and shopping place. All the shop was shutting down at nighttime, and you could go there because the floor was nice and you can watch yourself into the window of the shop. So this is how people used to practice in Paris back then. So every day I go there, I make my name, I get a little bit popular. So nobody know who I am. They don't know I'm the weird kids who dance at Juste Debout 2003. And then when they found out, whoo, I had the roast of my life. And the worst is the one who found out, of course, it had to be him, was Yuxon. Yuxon was like, he saw the video and he was watching me dancing at Châtelet. Then he went to somebody else and said, hey, do you recognize this guy?
Oh
And then he
no.
went crazy, like really crazy. Anyway, so
Oh,
Sebastian, of course, he get to hear about this because we're from the same crew. So Patrick shared this information with them. They saw it, they laughed too. Yeah, man, but I come from far. Like this dance thing was not something natural, like not hip hop. Hip hop I had to learn.
hmm.
Like it
Maybe
never
you
came.
should have. Why didn't you become a dancehall dancer?
Because first of all, before we never, it was no label, it was no box for that. It was just your
Hmm.
Caribbean, and this is natural to do, you dance. And that was the only dance I knew, like carnival dance, dancehall dance. Without knowing it, we would call it one day is a dancehall dance.
Yeah,
For me, it was just Martinique dance or Caribbean dance,
yeah.
like not like it is now.
It's still not too late, Stu. You can still do it.
I do
Nalinga, Nalinga.
party, I do party, and all the time, no problem.
Oh, wow. Then do you? Okay, so for the people that don't know, you came back to Just a Boo as a winner of Just a Boo Nordic in 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was 18. Yes, yes.
And so, how did it feel to come back to Just a Boo and be
But
on the biggest stage in the world after have been the silent kid 2003, and you come back like 15 years later and you're on the big stage in the stadium? Can you take me to that moment, please?
no, it would be boring because you know what? Because for me, it's only few people who know about me who tried to do Just the Boot in 2003. So this for me, it was like how you say, like if Juste Debout for someone like me or my generation who were there from the beginning, it kind of grew up with me, and I grew up with it. So it becomes something really normal after, because it's just that the just every year it just become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and he's been doing like this for 18 years. So the year it happens, I got to dance on the stage. I think my approach to the dance was different. So I was happy to be on big stage, but I had more fun in Sweden, in Malmo, doing the battle because it was more compact and cozy than being on big stage. Because really, when you're on that big stage, you feel like you're alone. It's
Hmm.
so weird. and it's like an empty room, and especially that day I was doing the Juste Debout as a dancer and also as a DJ. So it's like it's so weird because as a DJ, the way you see the event is completely different as a dancer. Because as a DJ, you actually have like this huge view on everything, and you can hear everything. So the vibe is there because you have the best seat in the whole event. And then as a dancer, it's just you're part of a big event, but you don't realize how big it is. So you kind of miss some, you know?
So you're telling me that you also put a record not only as the Silent Kid Dancer 2003, but also as the only DJ that has been competing the same year he's DJing. Is that what you're saying to me right now?
Yeah, this happened. Yeah,
I'm
this
just
we,
saying I might be the only one that acknowledged this, but it should be in a record book somewhere, okay?
no, I
Somewhere.
no like Greece, no, and like for example, the organizer of this event really like I have respect for him too a lot, and he have a lot of respect for me too, and they were talking like people here and other people also. It was a thing about like yeah, he's the only DJ who dance and do DJ in the same time in Juste Debout. So no, it was weird and awkward because I wanted to live the moment as a DJ because it was I think it was my first time DJing at Juste Debout, and so I wanted to take the time to enjoy that thing, but in the same time I had to be focused as a dancer, so it was really confusing as hell, like crazy.
Oh, I was there. It didn't look confusing since you won the whole thing. You seem to manage it pretty well, to be honest. But I remember, like, also because I interviewed Camilla Vanilla is in one of
Uh-huh.
this first episodes of this podcast, and we talked about this moment and how it was like a journey for her because she had been like leaving or getting out of the dancing a little bit and then coming back and then winning this thing with you next to her. And did it also mean something special to you to not only be viewed as a DJ but also like no, but I'm also like come at me, I'm also a dancer that knows my thing,
No,
you know.
no, you know what? Like dancing is for people who, of course, if you come out like the last 2 3 years, you don't really know about me because I don't show myself. But if you've been there like for the last 10 years, you've seen me. I came to Sweden, to Norway, and at that time I was really like as a real proper French, like how you say, like pro-French everything. So I was there to represent my country, and I was challenging everybody, and I did this everywhere I was going. When I went to Asia, it was the same. So at that time I already traveled so much. So the popper in the popping community, I was already known. Like it was already a thing. Is after when I start to be a DJ, I kind of make it this strategically. Like I didn't want people to be like, oh, he's the dancer. So I kind of stopped dancing for a while before that Juste Debout, just to focus only on DJ, so that people when they see me they just think as me as a DJ and not a dancer. So when I get there, it's like, of course, I always have this, but that is all the time. Wherever I go, it's like I'm still a dancer. This that's not gonna change, you know. Like I love to compete, always did and always still doing it, and I think this never gonna go away. Competition for me was one of my big motivation before. I enjoy a lot parties too now, even more than before, and especially where you can see people appreciate music for the music, and actually groove to it, and because there's commercial parties, there's underground parties, there's those specific parties that you'll be like, oh, is no other one like that too. So in that sense, I'm always gonna be a dancer, and that's not gonna change. and it's just
Yeah.
because of the music. So it's lucky for me I can be a DJ because then I'm still around the music.
Yeah. And talking about that, so if I'm correct, you started DJing in 2012, and it was because one of your crewmates, Lee, wasn't stepping up to his game, so you had to take over. Tell me a
No,
little bit about the transition.
okay. It was not taking over, but Lee has all the equipment. Damn, you talk a lot to Sebastian. Lee has a lot of equipment, and he was already DJing a little bit. And at that time, we were like, everybody in the crew were like, Lee, you should go to, we have this place called Café Sœur in Oslo. And we were like, you should go to this place and propose to play there and start to play. Like, and he was like, it's not like he didn't believe in it. He was like, yeah, but I have other stuff to do and blah, blah. And me in my head, the way I see it was like, bro, you have no idea. Like, you can do so much with this. And so I started practicing with his equipment, and I wanted to show him that there's something to do with it. It was not even for me. It was just for him to see that you can actually use this. And then it happens that in that place they had this competition for DJs where you actually show and showcase your skills and how you play, and you can win like 4 gigs after the competition. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I want to do it. But in my head, I was when I saw this is the way they wrote it. But again, I should know. But I saw battle DJ battle, and in my head, I was like, wow, they have a DJ battle, so it's gonna be like the DMC. So I kind of locked down myself for a year and just practiced like a motherfucker, just to get the technique to be able to do like a proper DMC battle DJ. And then when we arrived at Café Sir and I wanted to finally compete, they just told me, "Oh, you have like it's 3 sets of 30 minutes, and after people vote for you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But I said, "Yeah, but 30 minutes sounds long because I can showcase everything that I know and how to do for 5 minutes or six, but I cannot do more." Like, and then the guy look at me say, "No, it's not the MC. It's like you just play music." I said, "Oh, just playing music," and then
Oh, you had like been flipping with
yeah,
scratch and
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, like like kissing the record and stop, stop, pat under my legs, everything. I learned this shit. And when I arrived there, it was not about that. It was just like play music. Like we want to hear your selection. So I did play music, and then after that, it went super good with everybody in the crew. Like we organized, so we invite people so they can vote for me, and then I won the competition. And what happened is the guy gave me the 4 gigs and said, "Yeah, you're gonna have 4 gigs." And what happened is one of the DJ got sick one of those weekend, and the guy called me and said, "Can you step over and just jump into it and play for us?" So I said, "Oh, okay." So I called all the left songs, said, "Yo, I'm gonna play there. Like, let's go. Everybody go." Happens that that night that place was full, and they had a queue the all night, and the queue was so long outside that the guy after looked at me and the other he was like, "Okay, and this never happened here, so from now on, whatever you guys want to do here, you have like carte blanche, like you do whatever you want." And since
I,
then, it's been like,
I've been standing in that queue, by the way, as well. I also never got in. I have to ask you for some tickets next time. Shit.
no, 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 but
Yeah.
yes, so this happened, and then from there, I was surprised. I was like, wow, people like the music that I like, and then it becomes more like a little bit more specific because after I start to really take it serious because after that Lee he was like yeah it's good for you but then he wanted to do something else so I ended up becoming a DJ that I was like okay but then now I'm there so let's keep going and from there then it was a Swedish DJ from Gothenburg called Neno. I don't know if you know him.
No, don't
He's
know.
like the mentor of Ashkan, DJ Combat.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So him and what's his name? And King Foolish, the B-boy. So Foolish, I went to Gothenburg and he had turntables at his place, right? So of course it was an event in Gothenburg. I go to Gothenburg and then do the event, do the after party, and then we sleep at Foolish. And then I see the turntables and I say to Foolish, hey, can I practice? Can I learn? So Foolish said, yeah, bro, like you have the whole day, you do whatever you want. So I remember we came to his place. I just practiced with his turntables. And then he went to work. I practiced the whole day. He came back. I was still practicing. And then he looked at me and said, hey, bro, you really into it? And I was like, yo, bro, I need to learn this. Like, this is number one thing I want to learn. And then Neno sent me a video of DJ Jazzy Jeff. And then when I saw the video, it was like finished. It was confirmation. I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. It's like the reaction Jazzy Jeff have with the crowd is just.
Yeah.
And then from that day, I was like, okay, yeah, that's. And this is 2012, so everything went super fast, super fast.
If you haven't done the boiler room yet, I'm sure you're gonna get there because Jesse Jeff on the boiler room is like,
My
it's
goodness.
amazing, man.
Boiler room, yeah, like that circle is tight. One day, yeah, for sure. I hope one day I get there.
For
Definitely.
sure. No
I
problem.
with the time I get closer and closer to those like to this circle of people and it's not that big so it's easy to get rich with them and talk with them we've been sometime crossing each other but they never really get to hear me or anything like that
It's gonna
and
come.
the thing with the DJ is like what I like about it is I'm taking a lot my time so I'm not stressing with it like like things comes if they don't they don't and I go with the flow I don't stress nothing like that like even Juste Debout I was so surprised when they called me the first time I was like I thought they would I was like maybe they're gonna call me 19 and then 2018 I get the call and I was like oh shit that was earlier than what I thought so and it's always been like that so right now with DJ I'm really lucky and blessed like really hand down like it's
What
just
a journey.
a crazy journey.
And I wanna continue a little bit on the track because since you're both a dancer and a DJ, I find it very interesting. So I'm gonna go into like a different part of the interview now where I ask you like from another perspective, more from the personal growth type of side into your career. And I wonder if the dancing stew and the DJ stew is different in any kind of way.
Not at all. It's very same. The thing is, if he wasn't the dancer, Stu, probably not be the same DJ Stu. Cause it goes with the dance and also my like it goes also with my private culture, like my where I come from and things like that. And those two things is really now when I look at it, it's like if I didn't have either one, it wouldn't be the same. Especially the way I think now when I play. So dancers too is it had to be the same because this is where I learn about the culture and as a dancer you learn so much more than just a regular person who know about hip hop. You're more deeper about the subject, who are the people, who are the key people, where exactly you come from, what type of club they went and how you can even describe the era where it come from without having to live it, because if I expect every dancer to do this type of research, like if you're interested about this dance and this culture, you should really dig into it so you know exactly how it was made and why they do it and how come and what are the reason, even if they eat chicken at that time or not, like what was the favorite soda. All of this needs to be known, like if you really want to understand and feel, try to feel what they felt,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day I feel like this is not my culture, so it's really difficult for me to feel the same as what they feel. And so I learned that because I when I not at the end, but like maybe 5 or 6 7 years ago, I started to look the similarities between Caribbean and hip hop culture.
And how they're like coming from that. Hip hop comes from, you know,
Yeah.
footwork and Jamaicans and everything. Yeah.
So for me, it was like, for example, if you play any 80s zouk from Martinique, the the way I'm gonna go crazy and bananas when I'm gonna hear that song is no other song will make me feel the same way. And I think for the American is the same. If you play any James Brown or anything from that time, they go as bananas as me. Just not the same song, but the feeling is the same. And this is when I start to understand, okay, this is the culture thing. Like, this is why I cannot pretend am living the culture. I live the culture, but it's not mine. I cannot say it's mine because if you put any songs from their time to me, I will, at the best, I will love the song, but it will not make me, it will not take me from my chest or whatever, that feeling of where the music from before and you grew up with it is not the same.
Yeah.
So I start to compare those both culture, and I start to make some link, like you say, it's really like this. Because I remember I always wonder why I like popping music more than hip hop. And when I started to study my own culture, I was like, oh, because the instrument they play is pretty similar, like
Mm.
especially the bass line. And I was like, oh, that's why it feels almost this same way as the Caribbean, because in funk, especially the funk from Josh Clinton and the Funky Parliament and all those people, like he's really like this heavy bass line. And I was like, that's what I felt.
Yeah.
And this was, I understand them, like when they get the song and he hit them, it's like, oh, okay, I know what you feel now. You know? So from there to this is this is what made the studio dancers, like me studying and like learning the culture. So when I become a DJ, everything that I learned is was there and helped me so much to DJ, especially to find the music and to know where the music come from. And my thing now is like, oh, it's been a while like this, but when I play to parties, I always want to bring people back to their memories, like
Mm.
when they were kid and young, and it's like a journey where I bring them from they maybe 5 years old till they're 15, from the 20s and on. So it's like a journey, maybe for them it's like a journey through their life, because of music.
It's
So
amazing.
the fact that I know about so much about this hip hop culture helped me a lot to do this.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
what like I saw in one interview that you were saying like I wish more DJs would look for more special music and not just the easy thing you search like on some kind of playlist, but like really the digging and finding like those special tunes. Now I'm gonna flip the question. I'm gonna say, is that when you feel like you like to hang out with yourself the most? Like when you like your favorite part of being Stu, is that the researching guy? When you're just alone digging through music, is that when you love hanging out with yourself the most?
No, because this you want to share with people, like most of the time when I search by myself, it's funny because it's just I find something crazy and I go crazy by myself, but I don't have nobody around to share. And this happened at crazy time, like can be at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So I cannot call anybody and wake them up, say, listen to this. No,
I'm sure you have done it.
I don't. But if you live with me, you will have witnessed it for
Listen,
sure.
I know you've been living with an entire crew. I can imagine that it's been happening like, yo, guys, come out, come out, come out. I have to show you this tune right now, right now.
No, it happened many times, but no digging and this part of I want people to find tunes is not a tune that it has to be bang. It has to be a music that touch them, you know. Like they find something that they never heard, and because they never heard, they still feel like it's good. And I want them to share with other people. Because now, of course, if you go in the club scene, they don't care. Like they just play whatever pop music is going on the radio and the top 100 and is enough, They don't even try to play around with those. But that is the club scene. After that, I got a chance to be hanging around people like Jazzy Jeff and another DJ called Just Dessert and those type of DJ, the DJ from the border room or even from selection, like the some of them I think the way they play is just even crazy because some of them can play club scene music, but the way they bring it with all new music and you never heard about it and new remixes, I think it's just beautiful. So I want people to be more the DJ to be more able to do this more and more.
Hmm.
I think most of them, like for those who love DJing for being DJing, they do it. It's just they don't want to show it or they don't dare. They're scared to put it on the club. And then, but when they do it, everybody know because it's just because it's like me. I think timing was good for me when I became a DJ for dance event because I came with different type of music that people was ready to hear. Like the dancers was ready to hear and ready to like to be touched by. And that's what I think this is what got me where I am as a DJ for all the dance event.
Hmm.
It's because I was able to put in songs that was not possible to find.
Hmm.
And it was songs that people love to hear and they only hear it one time and the next time they had to hear it, it was you had to come to the next event I was playing. So
That's
that was
dope.
that was a good feeling. This was a good feeling. But
Yeah.
then this year and last year start to change a little bit because there's this like people want to come back to old school music, which I want to, but there's a new generation that we cannot just leave behind. So the new generation listen also to one type of music. So I start to dig into what they're listening and everything. So now I think is a time for me where I have to make a balance and find the right middle between the new and the old school generation.
Yeah. And
But
I,
it's
I want, oh, sorry. Yeah.
it's just a journey and it's fun to do, like sometimes stressful, but most of it is fun.
Yeah. And I want to take it back a little bit to the dancing stew. Um, what would you say would be your a moment where you felt the most grateful for in your dance career?
Wow. There's many of them. Um,
Which
First
one
of
is it?
all, the first time my how you say the first time I got to enter this room where I could dance hip hop with a lot of girls when I was allowed because I didn't have the money, so I didn't know how to do. So when my teacher Mehdi Slimani told me like, no, but just come, don't worry about the because you have to pay fees to the youth center and everything. and I didn't want to meet them. I didn't even want to see them. So he was like, no, no, don't worry, they're not coming here. So I'm the one who bring them the paper and the money. So you don't need to worry about this. So when he said that, already was a big thing. Like was like, wow, I'm gonna dance hip hop. And then after is probably one of my first festival that I wanted to be witness of. It was before Juste Debout. It was this event in Paris called La Villette, and it used to be a lot of dance crew coming up and showcasing, and especially out of control and people from Brazil and the Japanese. And I saw like in this festival one like well, the best dancer nowadays, you know. So for me, it was like, wow. And I even had to do a strike at home to be able to go there at least one day. The festival was 1 week, but I could go there for one day because for 6 days I've been striking. Was fighting with my mom, you know. I was like, I'm not eating if I don't go there. Blah, blah, blah. It was terrible because my parents didn't want me to be too much linked up with the dance, you know. They was like,
Yeah.
what is that? What you gonna do with this? So I fight with my mom for this, but then after she gave me that day, I went there, it was crazy, and then was meeting Sugar Pop and Buddha Stretch, and this was a game life change. To be honest, not even a game changer, it was just life change. Because when we met them, we haven't really met the American, and I was dancing for almost 10 years. Like I was actually already dancing for 10 years, but I never see no American, and I've seen them, but just as judge or in cross them in events, but never talk with them. And my relationship with the OG in France is at that time was not so good because I used to say that the OGs they never wanted to share anything with us, so we had to find out everything by ourselves. It's like it was a real relationship. Like this is mine, this is not yours. This is my knowledge. I don't want to share with anybody. So it was that because people wanted to be the best, so they were scared to share, and then by sharing, people can become better, and they lose or lost their statue or whatever. So it was a weird relationship, but that relationship made the dancer in France like it creates that big competition amongst everybody. Everybody want to be the best. So, and this is how we have good dancers in France. But when I came in Scandinavia, it was a different vibe because it was not about who is the best. It was about sharing and like taking care of other one, each one teach one. And it was really weird at first for us. Like, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, is that like a sect? Is that like, is he a guru somewhere? You know, I wasn't sure. I was like, everybody is nice. It doesn't sound good to me. But I wasn't used to this. And then Stretch and Sugar Pop was the first people who told us like, and I say us because it was me and Keskia. They came to us and start to say, yo, you know, you guys dance good. I don't know if your OG is telling you, but you guys dancing good. You have good knowledge, but you need to start to share. And when they say share, I was lost. I was completely lost. I was like, what the fuck is it? What is share? They say, yeah, you need to share your knowledge. You need to, to interact with other people. You need to give. I say, give? I ain't giving shit. They were, no, no, you have to give. And they really talk like that. So we were like, wait, this is something wrong. There's something wrong there. And we didn't believe in, like, they were really like asking us to share and be nice with people. So at some point, after a couple years, like maybe 2 or 1 year and a half, we were like, okay, they keeps insisting about us sharing and everything. And basically, this is when we started to hang out in Gothenburg and meeting like all the Swedish scene, like Ashkan, Sasha. uh, Esan, Happy, Sebastian, Brian, Zerion, all the clique of Gothenburg, you know. And this is actually when we start to actually share. Because I remember at that time, Keskia was doing back and forth in Gothenburg to give private class with Brian, Esan, and I don't know who was there. Just like, and they were like, yo, we don't have money to pay you, but we pay you food and we pay you transport. And Patrick was like, oh, it's all good, don't worry about the money. And he used to go there, and then Lee was going there too. I was going there, and this is how we make the crew actually.
Yeah.
And it's not even a crew; it become a family
Yeah.
because now
And
it's us.
it's like it's funny because I'm thinking about the sharing, and I know that you also at some point became a teacher, like, and that you're teaching popping classes and stuff. What would you say be one of your proudest moments as a teacher in regards to maybe one of your students or something?
Man, mm, I don't call them my students because they're my brothers and sisters now. But like anyone in my crew, how they what they become and what they achieve, that's the pride. In there is a lot of pride because we know those people. We know them actually when they were super young. Some of them quit school. Like all of them quit school basically. Only maybe Sebastian who tried to keep going on with the school as far as he could. And so at that time it's pretty wild, you know, and they are just reminding us how we were, you know. We were like, yo, those kids, because God, Sweden and Norway is different. It's really different. Like the neighborhood in Sweden and the neighborhood in Norway is two different things. It could look similar because where people come from, but the quality of life and the way people live, I think in Sweden is pretty much similar than where I come from, especially in Gothenburg. So when I went there and I saw the neighborhood there, I was like, whoa, they're like us, you
Hmm.
know. So I understood them straight away. We understood them straight away that dance was the only thing they had to do at first. So from where they come from to what they're doing now is just proud in this, you know. You can only be proud.
Yeah. And
And it's
how, oh, sorry.
no. I was just saying it says a lot that you can do whatever you want actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you come from, you know. Because at the end of the day, not all of us end up being just dancers, you know. Sebastian find his way, Brian find his way, Happy find his way. Happy's still dancing. Became a DJ. Patrick Keskia became a promoter, one of the best one in Norway, and I even call him Olivia Pope of the club scene. I don't know if you know who is Olivia Pope.
I do
The
not.
TV,
I'm sorry.
the TV show, and it's called Scandal, and she just fix people, you know, and he fix club. When they're about to die, they call him and he fix them.
Wow, the
So
club whisper.
exactly. So Keskia is a promoter now. So everybody becomes something good, you know, in their life, not just
Yeah.
dance. This is what I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Because it never been only about the dance. It was mainly about people, always.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Professor Stu.
Oh shit.
Um, I would love to get our, like, the listeners some kind of advice from you since you've been in the game a long time. And I would like just you, out of your perspective, some advice that you would give them. And I would love to hear, like, what would be three things that you think the dancers should do in order to prepare for battle in the best way.
So to prepare for a battle,
Yeah. Three things.
one is not a secret. Just keep practicing. That's number one. Two is you need to love music. Like really, you need to learn at least how to appreciate it and how to be able to enjoy it. Because that's what's gonna sparkle everything. The energy when you're tired and this music hits you, you suddenly have the whole energy in the world. And this is because the love of the music.
Yeah.
Is this, and then I mean the third one, if you really want to be strategic, you have is like I don't like this comparison because I don't think dance is a sport, but battle is kind of a sport when you battle, you know, and especially the way it is now. Like if it's in the cipher, you're in trouble. In cipher, you need to dance your ass off. It doesn't matter, just dance and stay as long as you can in the cipher. In the battle, you need to be able to study people. You know, you have to be able to see what they are doing, what they are not doing, which information you can get out of the dance, and what you can provide to show that, okay, you're missing this. I need to show you through my dance that you're missing this, and then I can also do what you're doing. So the strategy in there too, you know.
Yeah.
Most important, I think, in those three rules is love the music. And I think from there is a lot that's gonna come up on its own. If you love music, if you truly love music, don't learn it by heart, is no point. Just learn how to appreciate it. When it hits you, it's done. Can do nothing else. It hits you, it's there.
Nice. All right, Professor Stu. Next question. What is one promoting advice you would recommend dancers or DJs to do in order to get more bookings?
Ooh, for the dancers, I would say two things for the dancers. One, try to be original. So it means by that I mean learn your foundation, learn everything you need to know first about the dance, and then after try to make it your own. So you become different than everybody else. By being different from everybody else already, you put yourself in a spotlight. Now, I'm not a big guy on promoting and things like that because I'm out of the social, like, I don't do so much Instagram, I don't do Facebook. I do it for the DJ because at first I use it a lot just to promote myself. I tried to see and understand how it works. I mean, it looks like nowadays you need to be online and make videos and promote yourself that way, you know. I don't know the secret of it because I haven't touched it. I'm even for my DJ, you know, like I'm I have a kind of a set of mind that is old school, and it can be good and bad at the same time. It can be good because the only place you're gonna hear me play is if you come to see live, because I don't have Spotify, I don't have SoundCloud, I don't have music on YouTube. Like I have no material outside, and unless if you come and see me live, you know what I mean. And the reason why I want people to come live because it's an experience. You will never experience the same thing live that if I had put every music somewhere on a social or internet platform.
Hmm.
And yeah, and this is really like doesn't make me big as a promoter. Now the bad thing about it is everybody's using internet. So everybody want to hear you or see you on internet, you know. And the problem is we living in a time where everybody want things now and they cannot wait. So you create frustration, and if you create frustration nowadays, people just put you on the side, you know.
Hmm.
But so far, it looks my strategy works, and I'm a living proof that you know what? You can still use the old school way. It's just that you have just to have to be consistent, you know. And if people like you, they will like you. There's no way. Like I say, if you come to my party and you feel a certain type of way, hey, then I don't think you're gonna forget, you know.
Hmm.
And if you forget, it means that night I wasn't good enough. Sure, you feel good. Like every night I play for me is a challenge. Every night I'm making the best out of it because I want to touch people that I haven't touched or reached. And if I reach you already, I want to make sure you be like, oh, that's a confirmation, you know? So promoting, yeah, use the tools that you have today, you know, like I'm not gonna lie.
And be consistent.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, be like me, tell people, come and see me live. And if you hear from me, from someone else, it's a good thing. You don't need
I love
likes.
that. I love that. All right. I'm going to wrap up this interview with something I call the fill in the blanks. So it's basically something very short. I'm going to say the beginning of a sentence. You're
You
going
have
to
to
end it with one word or the end of a sentence. So not a whole explanation, just one word or the end of the sentence.
one
Okay?
word in the sentence. Okay, I try.
Okay, let's try one. My favorite place I have ever visited was.
Tokyo, Japan.
Boom, you got it. So this is going to be very random. It can be very high and low. So just get on the ride with me, okay? 3 words humans should erase from the vocabulary.
Ooh, okay. Hate, racism, and the N word.
Boom,
Um,
got it. If I would describe a good song and how it makes me feel physically, it would be.
I don't know the thing to say, but orgasm.
That's a great feeling. That's a great feeling.
Yep.
Then you really love music. You know what I mean?
You know, trust me. That's the problem.
Okay, so one thing that most people do not know about me is.
Ah, everything. There's
One thing.
one thing. Now, but that one thing in particular is this. And it this been how you say a complaint. I'm not social, but actually I am super social. It's just that I'm not open so much. I not hide, but I like to be home and I don't go out so much with other people. And but obviously they see so much through my social media and through the events or whatever. So sometimes people complain that I'm not reachable, like they cannot reach me because they think I'm not social. But actually, when you know me, you know I'm a crazy motherfucker. Like I love to laugh and I'm super social.
As long
So
as people come home to you, not that you have to go out.
that's why I say it's not one thing, it's everything. People don't know me. Period.
All right. Well, that makes it up for a second interview one time in the future. Okay, I will continue. Last time I got surprised was.
Oh fuck! It gotta be good or bad. It doesn't matter.
No.
Man, it was bad. Last time I was surprised is when we had to cancel Juste Debout live.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
and it was
That-
really, really bad. It was a surprise because we were doing the pre-selection in Paris, so we were already in Paris, and then before the pre-selection finished, so before the D-Day, Bruce take the mic and he didn't even consult us or talk to us before in the backstage, nothing. And then he throw the news like this. He break the news, and we were like,
Mm.
and the funny well, is a one tiny thing. It's just a memory thing about it. But me, if I'm like this, I pay attention to whatever happened in the event. So I don't know if you've been. Yeah, you were there because I did it maybe in 2018 when I played at Juste Debout the first time. Bruce tried to do this kiss game with the camera, like in the basketball game. And then he started walking to the people, but he didn't prepare nothing. So me, I'm not supposed to go on stage, but I see this and I'm like, he's missing music. So I go up and I play, let's get it on. So when he was alone and tried to make people kiss to the camera, like in the game, people didn't want to kiss because there was no mood for it. They were like, but why I'm gonna kiss her in the front of everybody? But the moment I played the music and it was not playing, people was like, yo, we in the mood. So suddenly everybody kissing to the camera. So I'm someone who pay attention to things. So for for things like that, ha, nah, man, like that, yeah, that's the thing. So when they say, "Oh, we don't do the event," I'm stupid, but in the same time, I did it so naturally. I start to play this mood song that is pretty much everybody gonna cry.
No.
So the room was about to literally cry together, and somebody came to me. I think, bro, you need to change the mood because right now I know you try to fit the mood, but right now it's not the good timing. So I had to twist the shit out of it and turn it to a carnival so people don't think about the bad news no more. But the switch of mood was just crazy. So yeah, that was the memory I have from it because from bad news, then everybody was starting to celebrating.
That's the
And
power of music and the power of being a DJ. You really have that control of changing people's
yeah.
whole
So that was the last
atmosphere.
time I was surprised, and it was not a good one. It was like,
Mm.
fuck, it's the last time we do Juste Debout now.
Yeah. Okay, I
Yep.
got four more.
Oh
Four
yeah.
more. Here we go. I get so satisfied as a DJ when.
Ooh, when I'm home playing.
Here we go. The unsocial guy again.
See? I'm a great man.
Okay, next one. If
Uh-huh.
I could learn one new skill right now in life, it would be.
Barber. Because Keskia is learning it now.
You could be like a DJ in a barber shop in like a club scene, like in the same.
That's what they do in Japan.
Wow.
Japan is crazy for that. I went to a party in Japan. I played for a party where it was a huge loft, and then in the back of the loft, it was like ping pong table. So people was playing ping pong. In the opposite of the loft, it was a barber, and on the floor up, like they have like a mezzanine. It was people selling clothes, and in the middle section, like the main section, it was like a party with DJ and a concert. One room.
Crazy, man.
So yeah,
Okay.
because I saw Keskia is learning it and is becoming really good at it, and I'm like, ooh, I need to make time to learn this because this you can do it anywhere in the world.
Mm,
Always
like
someone.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. My best hip hop event ever was
Oh, you mean now?
putting you on the spot.
You know what? Oh fuck, you mean? I have two.
Okay, you better be quick with him.
Hold on. Okay, I have hip hop weekend, but it wasn't hip hop weekend at that time. It was actually the first Juste Debout that Martin Rosen organized. And just because he has a crazy concept of making a party in the train, so we had to make the party from Stockholm to Malmö, a whole wagon. And matter of fact, you go to the train station and it says Juste Debout train,
Wow.
number 21. So you go to the track, you take your wagon, and everybody in the wagon partying, insane. And then when you arrive in Malmo, the police is welcoming you with like the brass concert. It's like it was just bananas. And the that year, Juste Debout was just a next level. Out of this one, man, I think Juste Debout in Africa.
Where? Where in Africa?
It was in Ivory Coast, Abidjan. It was so good,
Wow.
and it
I feel
was
like I need to research some videos from that.
I don't know if there is, but it was fire because it was it was in the neighborhood. I think people in the neighborhood didn't know what the hell was Juste Debout. It was outside, and this is how he ends. Just so you have an idea, he ends with a lady who came down from her building. She come to me, and because in her head the music all day in this area was because of the DJ, so the responsible was the DJ, not the organizer of the event. So she came to me and she said, "Hey, now I'm tired of your music all day. It's 10 o'clock. Shut it down." And I was like, I look at the others and I was like, you know what? You're the boss. You're home. I switch off everything. Everybody looking at me was like, what's going on? I said, no, I'm not playing music no more. The mom comes down and tell me, you shut down the music. That's Africa. The best memory, man.
Wow, that's a great memory.
Oh, and it was outside. It's not even
Amazing.
like it was a huge concert, like a lot of kids, a lot of people. Like, it was crazy. Just the
So
win.
great. Okay, last one. I think the world right now needs more.
Wow. The world means more.
Needs more.
Needs more. No, we need more love. That's for sure. We all need loves.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
what we need. Less hate.
Mm.
Yeah, less hatred. Jeez. And now we're in a situation.
We are, and I don't know when I will see you again, but I am super thankful for this time, for your time. It's been amazing talking to you and getting to know you better, finally.
Hey.
Um, so I can't wait to see you whenever the world opens up again, somewhere,
Yeah,
somehow.
because you're not in Sweden no more. You're in Netherlands, right? Oh,
I'm in,
Jesus. Yeah, you don't know. But we will cross for sure. For sure, for sure.
for sure.
Take care of yourself. Be safe.
You too, you too. Thank you so much, too.